Going live. And we are live. We're live, we're live, we're live. So everybody come into the room. The Dreamcatcher room. I feel like I haven't sang in so long. I know y'all miss my singing. Don't try to play me. Super excited today because we are in, I know you guys are tired of hearing unprecedented times, but we are. The truth is we are, especially now more than ever. Because interest rates are at historic lows. I literally saw someone say that they just closed on a house and their mortgage interest rate was, I think she said 2.85. I mean, sis, they just giving money away? Okay. So why today is so exciting is because we're having a free class with none other than the Kendra Barnes. She's teaching house hacking your way to wealth. So you're going to learn, because you know the teacher in me, I'm like, you're going to learn what house hacking is, and why it's the best kept secret in real estate, who house hacking is perfect for, and 3 things you can do to get started, not tomorrow, not Monday, but today. I mean, not literally today, but you know what I mean. So first of all, who's Kendra? Kendra is a real estate investor, a licensed real estate agent. By the age of 30, Kendra owned and managed 7 rental units. She created the key resource to change the perception of what real estate investors are supposed to look like. Because when you see Kendra today, first of all, her fro is in full effect, okay? Kendra and her hubby have built a real estate portfolio that generates over $200,000 in rental income per year. Can we say cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching? Don't I bring y'all the best? And Kendra, you might recognize her if you're a dream builder, which means you're part of the Literature Academy. You might recognize her because Kendra is one of our premier Literature Academy experts. So I know y'all ain't here for me because y'all don't be showing up for me like this. You are here for Kendra. So I am going to blacken my screen, mute myself, and Kendra is going to give you your life, okay? Your life. Thank you so much, Kendra. Take care of my people.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for that awesome introduction. Y'all, I am super excited because I love talking about house hacking. It's my favorite real estate method. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys really quickly so we can get right into it. And I cannot wait to answer your questions. So, all right, hopefully you guys can see that. Uh-oh, you're muted.
Oh, real quick. If you have not shared this video, I forgot to say that. Share, tag, share, because you have Kendra live right now. Share, tag, share, share, tag, share. My bad. Go ahead, Kendra.
Yes, share so your friends can come in and ask their questions too. All right, cool. So before we get started, I want to say this really quickly. I know we are in this like age of social media where it's so easy to start comparing ourselves to others. You may see me here today, or you may hear other presentations and you're like, well, I'm too late, or you feel like you're behind and things like that. Let's throw that mindset out the window. My goal is to empower you and educate you and equip you so that when you are ready, you can really hit the ground running. And when it comes to home ownership, it's really important that you don't jump into home ownership. You don't jump into real estate investing before you're financially ready for it. It is a big responsibility. But what you might find is once you learn what I'm going to teach you today, and once you learn other things like about home ownership and real estate investing, you may find that you're more ready than you think, right? So that's my goal, is to, educate you and lay everything out. So you might be like, oh girl, I can buy a house. Like I thought it was 5 years down the road, but I can literally do it in the next 3 months, 6 months, the next year. But don't feel like you have to get into it before you are ready, right? This is all about education and empowerment. So let's see. So I also want to start with this affirmation here that you are worthy of wealth. So this is something that I didn't really realize until later on in life. No one told me 6, 7 years ago, no one told me even before that when I was younger that you as a young Black woman can literally own multiple properties. So I mean, this right here is like the first hurdle to get over, first realizing that you're worthy of wealth and you can build it from the ground up. So yes, you first generation college student in your family. Yes, you, the person who has not so great credit right now. Yes, you, the single mom. Yes, you, the person who doesn't have the best spending habits right now, but you're working on it. You are worthy of wealth too, and it is attainable. Like literally, if I can do it, you can do it. So I just wanted to put that out there in the atmosphere and then introduce myself really quickly. So I am a wife, I'm a mom, I'm an Aggie, so I went to North Carolina A&T State University. If there are any Aggies out here, put Aggie Pride in the chat right now. I'm a landlord. We have rental properties in DC and in Maryland, and we just moved to Texas like right before the pandemic to be closer to family. But yeah, I'm a landlord, and I'm also a chocoholic, love chocolate, and I'm a thrift store addict. Like literally, no matter how much money I make, I will always shop at Goodwill. I can promise you that. So let's get right into it. What is house hacking? So I know some of you on here might be like, girl, that sounds kind of illegal. Like hacking, right? When you hear the word hacking, it sounds a little shady, but I promise you house hacking is completely legal, and it is one of the best kept secrets of real estate investing. So, you know, if you're like on Instagram, or you might be reading a magazine and they have like these life hacks, it's basically something you can do to be more productive, or, you know, you can do something faster or better or more efficient. Like that's what they mean by life hacks. That's similar to what house hacking is, right? It's a way to get to your end goal quicker. It's a way to get into real estate investing faster, easier. And so that's why it's called house hacking. So the literal definition of house hacking is to buy a multi-unit property and you live in one unit and you rent out the other units. So when you're thinking of multi-unit properties, it is basically a building that has 4 units, 3 units, or 2 units. So 4 apartments, 3 apartments, or two apartments under one roof. And that's so important because of course there are, you've seen, you know, huge multi unit apartment buildings with like 200, 300 apartments and stuff like that. Yes, those are multi-units too, but for the purpose of this, we're talking about 4 units, 3 units, and 2 units, because anything bigger than 4 units is considered commercial real estate, and that's a whole other ball game. So when you think about house hacking, just remember that's going to be the 4 unit, 3 unit, and 2 unit buildings, right? You live in one and you rent out the others. So let's talk about this, y'all. Why is house hacking so important, and why is it like the best kept secret in real estate investing? When you think about buying a rental property, there's a huge hurdle that usually keeps a lot of people from investing in real estate, and that is the down payment hurdle. So when you're buying a house and you're getting a mortgage for that house, right? You go to the bank, you're asking them, hey, I want a loan to buy a house. They're going to ask you to come to the table with some money, right? They're going to lend you some money, but you got to come give up some money too. And that money is your down payment. Whenever you're getting a mortgage for a house that you are not going to live in, so that's a mortgage for a property that you're not going to live in, a rental property, you automatically have to put down a really high down payment, anywhere from 20 to 25%, right? That's a lot of money. In some areas, 25% down on a property could be $70,000, $80,000, $90,000. And it's like, who has that much money lying around, right? So this hurdle right here keeps a lot of people from getting into real estate investing because they don't have that high down payment. Now, on the flip side of that, if you were to go and buy a house for yourself that you're going to live in, that down payment hurdle is knocked out of the way. You immediately, just by living in the property, can put down as little as 0% down with some programs that I'll talk about later, 3% down, 3.5% down, 5%, or 10% down. So basically, when you go get a mortgage and you are signifying that you're going to live in the property, you immediately get over this down payment hurdle because you can put down less, right? And so put a 1 in the chat if you are following me, if you understand, everything so far and you're excited to learn more. But that's why house hacking is so significant, because it allows you to get over this down payment hurdle. When you're buying that multi-unit property, you're living in one, you're renting out the others. So you're immediately signifying to the bank, you know what? They're like, we don't even need you to put down all that money then. You can put down less. So like I said, house hacking is a great way to get over that down payment hurdle. So I'm gonna tell y'all about my house hacking fail so y'all can see this in numbers. You can see a real live example. This is a moment when I had the opportunity to house hack and I did not, because I didn't know any better, but now y'all know better and y'all are gonna do better. So my husband and I got into real estate investing, and we got into it really randomly. No one taught us about house hacking. And even if I had known about it, I don't even think I was in the right wealth building mindset to even to even take advantage. But here it is. We bought a duplex. A duplex is a 2-unit building. The price was $228,000, which means that our down payment was around $57,000. That is a lot of money. We did not have that money. We had to end up borrowing it from our 401k, which again is also like something that is highly debated amongst financial gurus. If you look into that as a down payment option or an option to get your money, for your down payment, please consult with a financial advisor. But anyway, our down payment was $57,000 because we didn't live in the property. It was a rental property, so we had to put down that high down payment. Now, even if I had known about house hacking, just the thought, I think, moving out of our big house that we had at the time and then moving into one of these small apartments, I would not have been down with that. Like, I wasn't willing to sacrifice at the time because I really couldn't get myself into that wealth building mindset. But what I know now is, in order to build wealth from the ground up, you have to be willing to do things that others will not do. And so that short-term sacrifice for long-term goals thing, I got it later, because later on we did house hack a 4-unit building, but at the time, I couldn't get with it, you guys. So we ended up putting down $57,000 when we could have put down way less. Let's look at it right here. So on the left-hand side, you have without house hacking, we put down $57,000 for this property. Great property, we still own it today. It's amazing, but we could have put down as little as $8,000 if we had just lived in one of the units. And the crazy thing is, when we purchased it, 1 unit was empty and 1 unit already had a tenant. It was literally perfect for house hacking. So with house hacking, we could have purchased this property with $8,000 down instead of the $57,000. And for all you first-time home buyers out there, there are tons of grants and down payment assistance programs where you can lower or eliminate that already low down payment. So if we had been first-time home buyers, that $8,000 could have been wiped down to almost zero if we would have used different grant programs and things like that. And so when you think about this barrier that's keeping so many people from home ownership or from buying rental properties, house hacking and paired with down payment grants and assistance and things like that, and paired with, like Tiffany said, these extremely low interest rates that we have right now in these unprecedented times, this is just an amazing opportunity. So as you can see, I made a huge mistake by not house hacking back then, but you guys now have the information. So the 3 major benefits of house hacking, again, low down payment because you're living in the property, right? So you get that low down payment, or you can get no down payment if you use the right programs, which I'll talk about later. But the big thing too is you're living there for free. So think about how this works. You go, you get a mortgage, right? Say your mortgage is, I don't know, like $1,500 a month. And say you're able to bring in, $1,700 a month in rental income from the tenants that are living in that building. So you're basically able to cover that mortgage with the tenants that are living in there. They're paying that mortgage for you. You're living there too. And so you're living there for free. And this is how you build wealth. You have your tenants paying your debt. And just think about it like this. If you're renting right now, say you're renting an apartment and you're paying $1,200 a month for your apartment or however much you pay, whenever you go to house hack and you're living in that building for free while your tenants pay down your debt, you can save all that money that you were spending on rent yourself. Now, all that money that you were paying every month to a landlord, you can either pay down your student loans with that money, you can save that money, you can invest it, and this is how you start to build wealth. The really cool thing too is I know people who literally do house hack after house hack. They, do one house hack, then a year later they do another, and they just keep getting new properties like that. So it's just a really, really phenomenal tool to use to, like I said, get over that down payment hurdle and live for free. So I'm going to look at some examples really quick because I want to show y'all the numbers with different cities in mind, like just show you how this can really be applied. And these are actual properties in these cities. So really quick, we're going to look at Chicago and DC. We're going to look at the numbers. This is a 3-unit building in Chicago. This is an actual property, $195,000 for a 3-unit building, right? So if you were to house hack this property, you could put down as little as $7,000 if you use what's called an FHA loan. The FHA loan only requires about 3.5% down. So the cool thing too is if you're a first-time home buyer, Chicago has different grants and down payment assistance programs where you could eliminate that down payment altogether. And so down payment $7,000. And with the rental income, what I did was I looked up how much could you make on rental income in this particular neighborhood where this property was. You're renting out 2 units, you're living in 1 unit. So by renting out 2 units, you can make about $2,200 per month. Now, I also did the numbers and saw what the mortgage would be on this property. The mortgage was $1,500 based on just some general calculations. So think about that, y'all. Your mortgage is $1,500. You're making $2,200 on rental income. So just a super basic example. I'm not including any utilities or any other expenses. Just for the purposes of this example, you are walking away with about $700 per month in revenue just after the mortgage is paid. That's pretty cool. That's way better than spending money, right? Renting, you're actually making money and you're living somewhere for free while your tenants are paying your debt. So that's this example in Chicago. I wanted to show you this because $7,000 is a down payment. Some people will get at least half of that back, on their tax return. Some people have side hustles, they're entrepreneurs where they can make $7,000 in a few months. Some people can save $7,000 easily in a year, right? If you really put your mind to it, you can do it. It's so attainable. It's so attainable. So next, DC. It's a little more expensive market, but it's doable here too. This is a 4-unit building. The price is $400,000. The down payment is $14,000. Yeah, that's a little bit more money, but it's still doable, you guys. Down payment grants, assistance, and things like that. You can still use that. You can still save $14,000 if you really put your mind to it. One of the tools that I like to use to save, especially when I was just starting out, was the 52-week challenge. That's a really easy way to kind of put money aside. Then there's all these apps and things like that that help you save as well. So just take a look at those numbers, screenshot this if you have to. Don't want to bore you guys with too many numbers, but I just want you to know that even in this scenario, you're basically walking away, with money even after the mortgage is paid. So not only are you living there for free, but you're also making money as well. Now I want to pause and say that some people that house hack, their goal isn't even to make any money. Their goal is to literally just break even because they don't want to pay rent anymore. And so as long as they're not paying rent, they're fine. They don't need to make money right then, right? And so that's okay too. You have to know what you're in it for, especially in the short term and the long term. So now you might be thinking like, girl, I don't want to live in a multi-unit, or girl, there aren't any multi-units where I live, because I know that these kinds of properties are usually found in like metropolitan areas, especially, where you're going to find a lot of them on the market, are usually in like metropolitan areas. So if you can't find a multi-unit, or you don't want to live in a multi-unit, or whatever it is, you can hack the hack. There are people who literally house hack by renting out a room in their house. People who house hack by renting out a basement apartment that has a separate entrance. The goal is to just make it so that your mortgage is being paid by tenants. That's the hack. That's it right there. There are people who house hack, like in Texas, there are houses that have like guest homes in the backyard. So it has its own, separate everything, and they'll rent it out on Airbnb or rent it out to traveling nurses or things of that nature. So that is the hack, you guys. You're buying an asset, you're getting a tenant to pay for that asset, and you're building wealth. That's it. So I just want you guys to remember though, and I know this is a lot of information, but this is what I want you to remember. When it comes to house hacking, the reason why the focus is usually on multi-units is because you can qualify for more as far as a mortgage is concerned when you're buying a multi-unit property. So let me break down how this works. When you go get a mortgage, they're going to ask you for how much, what's your credit score? How much do you make? How much debt do you have? They ask you all these things. When they get that information, they tell you, okay, this is how much money we're going to lend you to buy a house. This is what your interest rate is and things like that, right? It's based on your salary and all these things. when you buy a multi-unit property, not only do they look at how much you make from your salary, but they're also going to throw in how much potential rental income that multi-unit is going to bring you. And that helps you qualify for more. So that's also part of the hack. And for that reason, my husband and I were able to afford a really expensive 4-unit building in DC when we house hacked, because of how they calculated that rental income. They said, okay, we know that in that area, the rentals make this much per month. So we're going to times that by the number of units in that building. And typically they use a percentage of that number. And then they put that onto how much you make in your salary, right? They add that together. And it's like, well, in that case, you're going to qualify for more. You get a bigger shopping budget. Okay, so when you're house hacking, yes, you can hack the hack. You can buy a single family house and rent out rooms. You can buy a house with a basement and rent it out. But if you want to, use this hack to qualify for more, then multi-unit, is the way to go. Just because you qualify for more, though, doesn't mean you need to spend at the top of your budget. It's just, I just want to show you guys that okay, that you can use this to qualify for more. So what can you do to get started today? One is set your goals, right? Like we said, set some specific money goals. 2, pick a house hacking strategy. Are you going to buy a multi-unit? You're going to buy a house and rent out rooms. And then what you're doing right now, you're skipping expensive mistakes. You're skipping those expensive mistakes by learning from someone who has been there and done that. So I know you guys have tons of questions for me. I can't see them right now, but I think Tiffany is going to let me know what those questions are. And I know I was talking a million miles a minute, so hopefully you guys got it.
It's good. We're going to definitely, so I'm going to look. I'm going to read them to you, Kendra. So ask your questions. Okay. So yes, ask your specific house hack questions. So Renee says, I never knew any of this, that info that you guys are sharing with us. Thank you for filling us in. You can actually, Kendra, you could take off the screen share so they can see our beautiful faces.
Yes.
Okay. You save a certain amount. Okay, no, I'm just looking. Ask your questions. Okay, this is so good. This is what I'm buying. Ask questions. Oh, Genevieve says she missed the expensive mistakes. What are some expensive mistakes that people make?
Yeah, the first one is, not applying for down payment assistance or grants. I think people don't even know those resources are out there, and so they don't leverage those resources. So that's the first one.
Okay, good. So right now, is it a really good time now that interest rates are super low? Because to be clear, if I house hack and this is going to be my primary residence, I can qualify for a lower interest rate than as if I was getting a mortgage for a rental property just for the express. This is just investment property. Is that right?
Yep. Just by being your primary residence, you unlock what I call your primary residence purchasing power, which is a mouthful, basically to say that you're going to get a lower down payment and lower interest rate when it's your primary residence.
Did you know that? I knew it, but now you know it too. I'm just looking at some of your questions. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is a good one. Yolanda said, how long do you typically have to live in the house?
Good question. So if you're going to use what's called an FHA loan, you definitely have to live in the house for 1 year. That is the requirement. And people always ask, well, what if I just say I live there? Do not do that. That is mortgage fraud. Don't do it. Okay. You have to live there for a year. When we house hacked, we literally lived there for a year and almost to the date we moved out. So
I love that.
Yeah.
So you want to be on the up and up. Nicole says, so this is a good question. What if you don't find renters and you have to prepare to pay the things yourself? How can you prepare if you don't find renters right away?
Yeah, so right now what you can do is kind of estimate how much you think the mortgage might be just by looking around at properties in your area and start to put aside what I call mock mortgage money. So you're pretending as if you're going to be paying that mortgage, because if you cannot afford to pay a mortgage on a property for at least 3 months on your own without tenants, you are not ready to buy. because things happen, things break, you might not have a tenant, you might have a gap in between tenants, and you need to be able to afford that rental property on your own for at least 3 months, even if you don't have tenants. But always be willing to pivot. If you started out and you found tenants on like a site like Zillow, but that didn't work out or whatever, you could try Section 8 tenants, you can try Airbnb, you can try traveling nurses. There's so many ways to make rental income. You have to be willing to pivot, but also be able to afford it on your own, just in case.
So another thing too, my friend used to work for the airline. He was a gate agent. So if you live in a city, like I live in Newark, where we have an international airport. So pilots, flight attendants, they would rent, like rooms. And so just know that's possible tenants as well. Someone had a good question. Is there a difference in, what did she say? She said, is there a difference in down payment requirement as far as percentage wise, if you're getting a first-time home buyer, if you're a first-time home buyer, are they going to expect more of a down payment as far as percentage if it's a multifamily versus a single family?
So there's no like difference in down payment just because you're a first-time home buyer, if that's the question.
Okay.
Is that the question?
I think she was saying like, okay, I'm a first-time home buyer and I qualify for first-time home buyer, I guess, like benefits.
Yeah.
And so, but if I'm going to get a single family versus a multifamily, you know what I mean? Like, is it like, oh, it's 10% down because it's multifamily, it's 2% down because it's single family. Is there anything like that? Anything that,
No. And the great thing about a lot of these down payment grants and down payment programs is that you can use them for multifamilies, right? And so, but there's no like difference based on whichever one you buy.
So,
good question.
One thing I know for sure. So we actually just bought, my husband and I, like a year or so ago, we bought our first like real estate, I guess investment property. We bought it from the city, and there's so much we did not know. And even now we're renovating it. And if it wasn't for having assistance, we were this close to renovating it at a budget that would have made the house more expensive that we could sell the house for.
Oh no.
Yes. But thankfully we had a coach. So if you guys know me, I actually used to be a school teacher for 10 years before I started the Budgetnista. And I cannot tell you how important it is to have experts guide you through. And so it's one of the reasons why I brought Kendra here. And all of our experts said this is what they do. And so I asked Kendra, because I know some of you guys are going to want some hand holding, as you should, because you can avoid some of those expensive mistakes like Kendra made in the very beginning. So I know you have something called you have a few things. You have like this rental property bundle. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, so it basically includes like all these things to help you get started. There's a house hunting handbook in there that has like checklists. As you're going around looking at different properties, you can check off different things. Has a list of questions you need to ask yourself, ask your agent, ask the seller, like everything I wish I knew when I got started, it's in that book. There's also like a 90-day action plan that shows you step by step everything you need to do to get your first property. And I broke it down week by week over 90 days. But if it takes you 180, if it takes you 365, it's just a step-by-step guide. So it has a lot of different things in there, but also even after you get the property, like what do you do? How do you find tenants? How do you manage it? So it covers everything from like, I don't know where to start to boom, I got the property. Now what do I do?
So you have this bundle that walks you through basically in a 90-day period. You can be like, boom, I'm in this property without having to make those expensive mistakes. Because when I tell you, literally, I always say like I try to convince myself I make a $500 mistake to avoid the $5,000 mistake. But who wants to make a $500 mistake? Don't nobody want to do that, But also too, I know you have 1 month of e-coaching. If I wanted to coach with you, what does e-coaching look like?
Yeah, so it's email-based coaching. You basically have unlimited access to me for a month. Any questions you have, if you want to create a strategy, if you are looking at properties and you're like, girl, what do you think about this? Or like, just kind of someone to bounce ideas off of. So like you said, you get out there and you're like, wait a minute, I need to ask somebody some questions. I'm confused. What do I do? That's what e-coaching is for. It's for someone who's like really ready to get started and really wants that one-on-one time and guidance, but it's all email-based.
All right. And then, which is super important, because even now that's what we did we're renovating the house, and we have thankfully they live around the corner, but like they walk us through every month. We sit down, we look at the numbers and like, does this make sense? Should we spend this? Should we put the money into the bathroom or the kitchen? So having a coaching session. That's awesome that you have that. And then also too, I know you have something called a down payment report. What's that?
Yeah, so I basically put together these reports for about like 23 or 24 states. I don't have all the states yet, but I've done the research and pulled the different grant programs available for those states. So done the work for you.
Did? Because I see people are like, how do I know the grant program? Honestly, when I tell you that's huge, because when I was looking in Jersey, I was like, I did find one grant program, but it took hours. I can't believe you have a report on that. That's awesome, Kendra.
Did all the work for y'all.
Yes, that's awesome. So I share all that. So Kendra has the rental property bundle that walks you through step by step, 90 days from I don't know how to do nothing to I got a house and I'm house hacking. The 1 month e-coaching, which is like you get access to Kendra. You can email her as much as you want, and the down payment report. And if you know me, first of all, this is so cool now because I don't even have to ask for discounts no more. People just come like, I already know Tiffany. So for the rental property bundle, she's giving us a $20 coupon. So how much is the rental property bundle originally?
$67.
So that's it, $67? Not that's it, but
and y'all are getting even lower than that.
Yes, I'm like $67. Kendra, we're gonna talk business later. Like, girl,
listen, and you only have 24 hours to get that because it's such a good deal.
Yes, so $67 is the original price, 20% off. The link is in. If you're watching this video, the link is in that description. That's 20%, $20 off $67 for that bundle. I mean, honestly, 67. I thought that would be the discount for us. So it's 47 for y'all. Kendra, girl, you need to raise these prices. This don't make no sense. And then 1 month e-coaching. If I did want that 1 month e-coaching, what would the original price be?
It's usually $197, but you guys have 24 hours to get it for $97.
So you have a $100 coupon?
I know. I love you guys. Tiffany loves y'all.
Dang, I mean, I love him, but even I'm like, Kendra, girl, we gonna talk business because I believe that Black women should be paid. But we're gonna let this slide. So the coupons for them, I'm actually gonna post it and if someone can post them in the comments. So, and then I saw that I'm looking at this now. The down payment report, donation based, Kendra.
Yep, I've done that for a while. It's pay whatever you think it's worth. I mean, I've had people literally get like up to $15,000, $30,000 worth of down payment assistance from those reports.
Yes.
So yeah, it's donation based. But let me talk about that e-coaching really quick. I only opened up a few slots for each month that you guys see there because I want to make sure people get my undivided attention. I don't want to take on like hundreds of people. So if you are interested, you really have to jump on it because I only take on a few people each month so that you really get the time that you deserve.
Yes, please. I'm gonna post some of these in the comments. So I'm just like, because that makes sense. Like, wow. Honestly, these are incredible. I'm like, all right, so I'm posting this in comment and people can help me repost. That's the rental property bundle. It's normally $67 only, and you're getting it for $20 off, right? And you have the 1 month e-coaching now, because she's right. There's literally, Kendra, you can't see it, but over 3,000 people joined us live.
Oh, hey, y'all.
So what that means is she can't take 3,000. That would just be crazy. So, and then that's $100 off, which honestly seems a little criminal. So instead of $197, $196, it's $97. Honestly, you need to be charging more, but okay.
I know.
And then on top of that, at the very least, when I tell you, so the down payment reports, like those programs, like for example, in New Jersey, there was one for you can get up to $20,000. It was like M&T Bank. So can you imagine that you get this down payment report and you find a program like that and you save $20,000 and this is donation based. You give a donation, as much or as little as you're able. For that alone, if you don't do nothing else, like if you're considering this, because here's the thing, we are very unique times. I don't know ever in history that interest rates have been for home ownership have been below 3%. Like I can't even express to you how when my parents bought their house, having an interest rate of 10%, normal. That is literally hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're going to save on your mortgage. When I tell you it's crazy time right now, crazy time. So in the United States of America, home ownership is the cornerstone for wealth.
Yes.
Which means that my parents bought their house for $250,000 when I was 9 years old. Now that I'm grown, their house is now valued about $700,000. That is 500, what is that, 550? Is that the difference? Or 450? Either way, basically $500,000 that
Yep.
they've accumulated in wealth
That's how
over
you
that
do
period of
it.
time. And so that's what I'm just saying. I can't express to you enough how home ownership can
Yeah.
unlock, you know, the key to wealth. And so
Yeah.
you have an opportunity now with this super low interest rate that we will never, likely not ever see again in our lifetime. And then on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, the additional knowledge that's
Yeah.
going to cost you $47 or $97 or basically whatever you want to pay. Come on now. So
Come
the
on.
links,
No
yes,
excuse.
no, literally no excuse. The links are in the description of the video. Click on them. I posted them. I just please repost them for your family and friends.
Yeah.
Tell your
Because you have
cousins and
24
them.
hours.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's it. I'm sorry. 24 hours because yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. And just know that yes, the rental property bundle that's going to walk you through step by step in the next 90 days. That's like unlimited amount of people. But that e-coaching, there's no way she can do 2, 3, 400 of y'all. It's just not possible. So know
It's not
that's
fair to y'all.
super. Yeah. It's just not super yeah. So if that's something you're interested in, know that don't wait, lock that in for sure. If you're thinking about anything else,
Yeah.
and if you don't think about anything, at the very least, don't think about the down payment reports. Hello, it's donation based. We're passing the collection plate along. You got $1, you got 10, you got 20, whatever you think is going to be fair and what you can afford. Like at the very least, because when I tell you, like I said, in New Jersey, when I thought I was going to get a mortgage, I was able to get this house where I'm living now cash because it was a foreclosure. And so when I thought my husband and I were going to get a mortgage, it took me weeks to find a down down payment assistant program. I called all the realtors I know, all the banks that I knew. I pulled every string I knew, and I finally found one. But it took weeks, and literally for a donation, you can have a report, and your city, your state may or may not be on there. But I just can't express to you just what a gift that is. Honestly, Kendra, thank you. I'm always blown away by our community. Like I just hope I don't know if y'all realize this ain't normal when we get up in here, you know? No, the packages don't have an expiration date, but the discounts have an expiration date.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Good.
24 hours.
Good
So
for
today
sure.
is, what's today? Today
Today's
is
today. 23rd.
July 23rd, Thursday, July 23rd. So you have until tomorrow to get those discounts, but it doesn't mean that, you won't be able to, because these are still amazing prices. $67, come on now. $197 for coaching, come on now. And like the donation, like, that doesn't expire obviously, but yeah, I can't express to you how you have an opportunity to shift the trajectory of your
Yeah.
family towards wealth when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to home ownership. But what I do want you to do is to minimize the mistakes that you are likely to make. Because whenever you
Mm-hmm.
learn something new, you make mistakes. And the way you minimize the mistakes that you're going to make is to learn something new, knowledge, is to have access to experts. This is Kendra, and it's to build community. This is why we're here, because we build
Yeah.
community. And I don't think you realize, sometimes I think that we as dream catchers, including myself, get so spoiled because we have such amazing people that come and just pour into us and then offer us like these incredible opportunities. So sometimes we're like, oh, later. And I'm like, yo, I don't know any other group. I don't know any other community where these opportunities, people literally tap me on the shoulder and say, Tiffany, I want to do something amazing for your dream catchers. And I'm like, I mean, sure. Because Kendra is already an amazing expert in our literature academy. So I already knew that, she was awesome because we vet folks. And so when she said, I want to do something for dream catchers, I don't want us to miss out on this historic opportunity to own property for such a low rate that it could
Yes.
change the trajectory of your family's life. And so just
Yeah.
Kendra, just thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And so for those of you who are asking for the links, it's in the description of this video. In the description I'm posting them in the comments as well. But literally, if you're watching on your phone, you might, I don't know how you look on your phone, but literally it's all listed. It says like it's in the description of the video. You literally cannot miss it. I just typed it in there because so I've been posting it in the comments. And if for those of you who do have access to the comments, if you can share them, that way, people can see, like, I'm going to share them again. But yeah, they're all in the description of this video. I mean, we could take a few more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, someone said, Carlene, I have to take care of my parents. When I tell you there's nothing better, that is what wealth
Mm-hmm.
really allows you to do. I was able
Yes.
to pay off my parents' house, Kendra, the year before last. And it was every day every week my mother still calls me to thank me. That's what wealth allows you to
That's
do.
wealth.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, and she's like, especially now. And then my husband and I send my parents money every month. And then we send his aunt, his mom passed away years ago. So we send his aunt who helped to raise him money every month. That's wealth. Like, I mean, you gonna see me in the same t-shirt over and over and over again. I could care less about that.
Listen.
For me, right? For me, wealth means to be able to provide for my family and look after them in a way that is sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that for us. I want that for you. And that's why I bring people here. If you're interested in real estate, this is a little pinky toe in the door to assist them. Okay. All right, let's take so let's see. I'm not gonna name the states that are in the reports because this is gonna take too long. I mean, the report is donation based. Come on now. So
well, there's one for each state. So if you scroll through and don't see your state, then yeah.
Perfect. So click the link, it's in the description.
There's one for each state.
Yeah, there's one for each state. So if you don't see your state, then you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, Lisa says she ordered her booklet for California. Okay, Lisa, with your donation. Okay, so Keela, this is a good question. She's already a homeowner. What can she do?
Oh, so home ownership gives you options. First of all, yes, congrats to you for being a homeowner. You can do a few things. You can either buy a new home for yourself, right, and turn your existing home into a rental property. Because like I said, if you were just to go out and buy a rental property, you got to put down this big, huge down payment, buy a new home for yourself if you're up for it, if you're up for moving, and then buy that new home, you get a low down payment on that one and make your existing home a rental property. Or you can pull equity out of your current home and use that money to buy a rental property. Those are just two options right there, but you already have so many options just because you're a homeowner.
No, I love that. No, that's great because because we were going to do that. We were going to do a cash out, refi cash out. And I still might if I see a property that I'm like, gotta have it. So yeah, no, that's
cash out refi. You can do a home equity loan, a home equity line of credit. There's a few different options. You just got to make sure the numbers work for you.
Okay, and that's why Kendra's here to help you with the numbers, girl. Let's see what other questions. Let me see. You're not seeing the link. I'm in Facebook. People are posting the link all throughout the comments. So, just look at the comments. You'll see the links there. I'm just looking at questions. Yeah, please, help people with the links. I know some people are struggling. I'm just asking more questions. Oh, you're welcome.
If the question was about if you're already a homeowner and you're trying to get the down payment assistance, most down payment assistance is for first-time home buyers. There are some repeat buyer programs, but they're not as many. And so I just want you guys to know that that if you're already a homeowner, it's going to be a little slim pickings for you getting down payment assistance on that second house that you get.
And just be mindful too that first-time home buyer. People think sometimes first-time home buyer means that you've never bought a house before in your life, and that's not necessarily true, right? If you how long between you bought a house and you know what I mean, like how long before they're like, oh, okay, you could be considered a first-time home? Isn't it like 3 years or something like that?
3 years, good question. All programs have different stipulations, but generally it's like 3 years. If you sold your house 3 years or more ago, then you could be considered a first-time home buyer.
So awesome. So just know Yeah. So don't think like, oh my gosh, like I did buy a house like, 4 years ago, we've since sold it. I don't qualify because I bought a house in my past. That doesn't mean that you can't qualify to be a first-time home buyer. Someone said, so she's a homeowner. Can she use FHA again?
So you can only have one FHA loan at a time. You can use it again if you either have sold the house you had the FHA loan on at first, or you refinance out of that original FHA loan, but you can only have one at a time unless there are some ways legally that you can have two if your job moves you to another state, or if you have a life event that requires you to get a different living situation, like you have like triplets or something and you literally can't fit in your in the house you live in, or you get sick, you have to live near a hospital or something, then you can get two, but you generally speaking can only have one FHA loan at a time.
Okay. And Pam asked a question. She said, how can we buy them at full price later? So the thing is, Pam, those links will still be active. Like we're posting them in the comments, but they're also in the description of the video. You'll still be active. If you see, in order to get your discount, you use the coupon code Build Wealth. So you'll still be able to click. It's just that Builds Wealth, the coupon code won't work. So if you're not ready right now, whatever, you can still click those links and pay full price, you know.
Right.
Yeah. But I will say that the e-coaching is the one that's more you should jump on it if you're interested, because that's limited, because you know, just imagine like 200 people emailing for a month. That's just not going to happen. So that's the one that I wouldn't wait on that one if you're interested, because I feel like that's going to fill up real quick. Okay. Let's see. Good question. If I co-sign with my father on FHA, is she allowed then to go get an FHA?
No.
Okay. Okay, even if she was in the process of getting a release from the mortgage liability.
I would say definitely ask the lender.
Okay.
That's a question for the lender.
Okay, good question. Wow. Okay, this is like you guys have so many good questions. Oh, she has nothing for Arkansas. It's okay. That's why it's good.
I'll work on that. Yeah. I'll work on Arkansas. Stay tuned.
Okay, this is good. Okay, so this is good, Anita, and then we'll take this as the last question. This is an excellent question. Anita, if I buy a multifamily home and live in it for a year, will that affect me buying my single family home, especially when it comes to my DTI? So one, explains what DTI is. I know, but I want y'all to know. And then can you answer that question?
Yeah, so your DTI is your debt to income ratio, right? So how much debt you have, how much income do you have? They calculate that, and every lender, calculates it differently. So your question is, yes. So if you have a mortgage on that multi-unit property, then of course you have more debt, but you're also going to have more income, right? Because you're going to have that rental income coming in. And so this is a great conversation to have with the lender, but I want you to know that we have at one point had like 4 or 5 mortgages at a time. We were still able to buy properties because we had rental income coming in. And so we have that income to cover those debts. And so don't be afraid of what I call good debt. It shouldn't hinder you as long as you have that income coming in.
Oh, this is a good question from Latoya. This just has to do with the e-coaching, which is good. Latoya said, hey, Latoya Sunshine. Is that your real name, Sunshine? I like it. She said, if she purchases the e-coaching, can she delay her actual start date for coaching for a month or 2 from now? Or does it have to start? Is there like a start yet? How does that work?
Yeah, so when you guys look at the e-coaching, when you click on the link, you select your month. You can select a month from August all the way up to February. So whatever month you select, you start on the first of that month, and it's all explained there on the page. So everyone who enrolls in e-coaching is not going to start tomorrow. I had to stagger it out because I want to give you guys the attention you deserve. So there's a few slots for each month from now until February.
Ooh, you've been thinking about all the things, Kendra. Patty, you're just like me. She said she lost her house due to foreclosure in 2009. Me too. And she's been renting ever since. Is she considered a first-time home buyer now?
So some programs will consider you, like I know NACA, for instance, you gotta know NACA is always mentioned in this group. I think they say 3 years after you go through a foreclosure, you could be considered for that program. And so definitely check with each individual program, but you should be able to.
So try again. Someone said for e-coaching, the coupon code, is it build space wealth or build wealth one word for the e-coaching?
It's one word. So let me see.
Oh, my bad. We had it wrong on here. So,
okay.
So it's build wealth one word. Try that for the e-coaching. Build worth one word. Oh, my bad. That was me. So build worth one word. That's so both codes for coupon code, 100%, $100 off for e-coaching is build worth wealth one word. Let me know if that works. Okay, so the discount code is build wealth one word. So you're going to click the link, whether you're getting the rental property bundle, step-by-step guidance from beginning to end to get your first property, or the 1 month e-coaching, which you can pick your start date from here to February. I mean, come on. And the down payment reports, you don't need a coupon code because that's just donation based. So you might just be like, this is what I can afford. And so, you just do that, out of the kindness of your dream catcher hearts. Okay. She said she doesn't see a place. So the e-coaching, people are having trouble with the, let me see. I'm going to click the link myself just to be on the safe side. This is, where is it missing? Oh, this is not here. Oh,
let's see. It says it's.
I'm going to try it because I'm like,
okay.
Let me see. Okay. I'm clicking.
Okay, how about now? Can you guys try it now?
Let me see. Oh, I see it. Okay, so I'm going to pretend like I'm going to start in, let's say, November. And then I'm going to say, I want this. Your email, your card.
What is it?
No, they're right. I don't see. Unless I'm missing. I'm trying to think if there's because I may not be reading all the instructions. Yeah.
Try
so
to
yes. Refresh my screen.
Yeah,
and then two,
if
it's an issue, where can they, like, I don't want to flood your inbox for people who are like, no, I do want to get the e-coaching.
That's so weird. I don't know why it's not.
Can they email you directly, or is there a place that they can like send an email so that way they can lock in to say, hey, because I know they have the 24 hours, so I don't want anyone who really wants it to miss out.
Exactly. Yes. Hello at getthekeyresource.com. And I can try to type that. I know it's long.
So hello at getthekeyresource.com. So if you're wanting to lock in and just let Kendra know, hey, I was on the live and I didn't get a chance to lock in. Hello at getthekeyresource.com. Oh, thank you guys. This is why I stay in the comments reading.
Let me see. It should be fixed now.
Yeah, so just in case, hello at getthekeyresource.com. Oh, it says you entered the code after you put in your name and your email address. Oh, you were able to? Let me see. Let me try again.
It's not even letting me do it. Like, I'm trying to test it out. It's not letting me do it. So I don't. Technology, y'all.
I know. Well, I wouldn't worry about it. You just send Kendra a message and she'll walk you through if this is something that's really important to you. Here's what I always believe, that like if you're wanting something and you're wanting change and you're willing to go the little extra mile, like I would. What's the email to save $100? Okay. So hello at getthekeyresource.com, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
Okay, awesome. So, yep. So if you can't see the description, I'm just posting the stuff in the link, and even when we hang up, you'll be able to see the description pretty clearly. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Kendra. This was awesome.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun, you guys. I cannot wait to chat with y'all. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be in the comments for a few minutes.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.